Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tammy's Channel Chats. I'm Tammy Langowski. I am an intuitive advisor to your questions, working with clairaudience and clairvoyance. If you are ever interested in having a session with me, you can find me at tammysintuitive.com. And so I like to come on and give little channeled messages from my guides to share with you. Sometimes I take questions, or I always take questions, and sometimes I get them. Sometimes I just open up to what they have to say. So we do have a really great question today. And this one is, I'm just going to read it for you here. It's a little easier for me. So I always say it's great questions. It is. This is a really good one. How do talents translate from heaven to earth? For example, in the movie Made in Heaven, one of the characters was good at making toys in heaven. When she then came here to the earth plane, she got in like to the toy business. So when she came here, she went to the toy business. Do we carry interest and really good abilities here? Do we transfer it in a sense, right? And does this translate to our life's purpose? So really, that is really a really good question. We're going to open up to that. And so basically what I'm hearing in the question is, yeah, the things that we might have done good, let's say in a previous lifetime, do we bring that forward once we, come back into and reincarnate, and do we sometimes make that our life purpose, or do we, in general, make that our life purpose, or is it like a given to do that? So that being said, let me just open up to our wonderful guides. What do we say about that? Sorry, turning off the sound on my phone here. They said it all translates. Yeah, it does. We say, meaning kind of you. Once you have finished a life cycle, you will bring that love of whatever it is you love to do. It is innately impressed in your soul. That's what they're telling me. And so when you go to the other side, and when we go to heaven, if that's how we want to describe it as, once we leave our bodies and we go home, I like to call it home, which is heaven, then you accumulate many of the lifetimes of things that you love to do. And you often, very, very, very often, will manifest them in your next incarnation. So if it is something that you love to do, if somebody was a toy maker, as we say, right, and really love doing that, they're often going to find a way to incorporate that into their next incarnation. Some of you will do it on a very large scale. Some of you will do it in a very small scale. They're showing me entrepreneurs and how sometimes entrepreneurs will start out, with a lemonade stand as a child. They get the idea and they want to do it, or any kind of little sales like that. So that's an example of that coming through, that shining through, innately loving to be able to probably be with people and maybe in sales kind of arena, which many lifetimes of ours were doing that, selling goods, selling wares, and that sort of thing. So sometimes we'll find that we gravitate toward that if we enjoy doing it. So yes, we would say to your question, it does usually show up in a lifetime. Again, it might be on a smaller scale, it could be on a grander scale. And so guides, I would pose the question, does it ever, because I already know the question because I've gotten this question in readings, but does it ever not show up? Of course, they said, of course, because you may have done it so well and delved in it so much and learned what you needed to learn from it that you really don't need to pursue it in this lifetime. So we could say, if somebody, had a love of horses, I'll say, and maybe I see lifetimes of working with horses, owning one, and maybe working in a stable or that kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that person will, pursue that. Because I think it is an individual, this is what they're telling me too, it's an individual decision as to whether you want to continue to pursue that or try something different that you've always had an interest in, that you did on a smaller scale here in this lifetime, in a particular lifetime, and now you prefer to explore that. So the world is your oyster, as the saying is, and that's what they're telling me. My guides love like idioms and things from the past. They often use those. So really, yeah, if you want to explore, then you can certainly. Um, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That's the beauty of each lifetime, is that there are things. I'm trying to think even for myself. I know there are things that I've done before that I gravitate toward, well, more things of the arts, I would think. And I'd had an interest, in pursuing some of those things. I didn't do it on a grand scale, again, obviously. But, I've asked, have I done things like that before? And they said, yes, you have. You've pursued the acting, and again, I don't know if it was, although I had been told that, and this made sense for me, that you might laugh at this, but that I was a ballerina before performing. And the reason did I do any of that in this lifetime? Nope, I never took any dance classes towards that, but I found that I'd love to just twirl around like a ballerina. And I knew how to do it. That sounds, can anybody twirl? Yes, you can. But it's like I knew how to do it in a way that I think in this lifetime, I think you would be trained to do it, or getting up on my toes and things like that. Not that I did this all the time, but sometimes I have this urge to like just, and we should follow those because dancing is a really great thing anyway, right? It's very close to source. But I would allow myself just to do these things. And so finally I asked about it. I said, did I ever? And they said, oh yes, you did. You did. Or sometimes the other part of that is I would go to, let's say, the Nutcracker, watch the Nutcracker. And it's really interesting. Instead of just enjoying it and watching and going, wow, they're so good and they're talented, which I did do that as well, I would find myself being very envious. I thought, wow, where is that coming from? And now I know it's because I enjoyed doing that. And so I was sort of envying those dancers on the stage. And it was also, they had told me the stage itself, because I had been on that before. So I'm sharing that with you because, in readings that I do for people, sometimes past lifetime comes up, or we ask about it. And usually if somebody has a real love, they've delved in it before, where they really enjoyed it. So yes, what we find is that things you really love to do, you often incorporate it. Again, it may not be on the grand scale, it may be on a smaller scale, but you will somehow fit it in to a lifetime, which isn't that reassuring? It's great. It's also reassuring to know that we choose new things to learn and to do as well. So it just really all depends on each soul and what they're deciding to do. I do find it interesting, the ones though that aren't even interested this lifetime, because I'll get a clear past lifetime of something they've done, and they are not following any of that in this lifetime, which usually tells me they did it well enough. They learned what they need to learn. And so they don't feel like it's something that they want to do. Maybe it gets in the way of other great things that they're going to learn. So hopefully that's answered that question for you. I'm just taking a peek at it again. Yeah, so we do carry those great interests and great abilities here, especially if we enjoy doing them or we didn't get enough out of it. Another way to look at it too is that it could be that we decide to go further with it because there might be a contract we have with somebody, another soul agreement that we have with somebody who is in that maybe, we're going to even help with a little bit. So it doesn't maybe go further, but it's just enough to be able to connect with that soul in that environment. And so maybe there's some help that we're giving in that way. So that's also another take on it. So thank you again for that wonderful question. And I always open up, as always, any questions you have, do send them to me, because they're fun to explore and to see what our guides have to say. We want you to know that time will be coming when we'll start to feel a little less pressure. I'm changing subjects a little here. I'm just opening up to them a little bit as to what we feel we have to do versus what we want to do, a little less pressure is being relieved, will be relieved. We feel by mid-year or so, we start to really start to have this little freeing energy on that. So that's interesting, isn't it? I hope that's true for all of us. It's for some this year, the beginning of this year has been some heavy energy. Not for everybody, obviously, but I know a lot. Well, for myself, I've gone through some things too. All good. Well, yeah, just things to work through, challenges. And there's been other people as well, that I'm hearing about, and a lot of loss for people as well. So, hang in there. It's going to get better, and really do some self care when it's needed. Take care of yourself on all levels, because that's what gets you through those challenging times. Okay. Know that spirit and angels and our guides are there with us, helping us as well. They love to assist. Ask them for the guidance and ask them to come in, and they're more than happy to help in any way that they can and are able. Okay. So that's my message for today. Again, thank you so much. If you enjoy these, please share them with others and subscribe. I'd love the subscribes and the likes and all that good stuff. You know how it all works on YouTube. So I greatly appreciate it. And we'll say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.